Hello and welcome back to K Ray's Crafts. Today we will be loom knitting a sock. You will need a circular loom like this. This one is approximately 24 pegs. On your loom you will see an anchor peg. I have marked mine off because I use this loom for several different things, but this is your loom. You will also need a pair of scissors, loom knitting hook, needle, trusty dusty box to put all of your materials in. You will need a notebook to keep track of your information. So of course you will need a pencil as well. And you need your favorite color yarn. Today I will be using a beautiful purple yarn. This yarn I purchased from Hobby Lobby, but at the time of this video, Hobby Lobby is not open due to pandemic. So let's get started. Hello, I am officially back. All right, so we're about to start the process of the loom knitting of the sock. The knits that we'll use today are the drawstring cast on and the E-wrap, and then the bind off will be the end. So I'm giving you the names of those so that you'll be aware of what I'm doing. So you start off, this is our loom. This is what we call our anchor peg. Now, if the anchor peg is facing me, I knit to the right. So the right is always going to be this way around if the anchor peg is facing me. Some people like to knit to the left. It's perfectly fine, whichever one you're comfortable with. I just prefer to knit to the right because that was the way I initially learned. All right, so let's get started. All right, so here we go. We have this. This is my yarn. So I'm going to cross my yarn around my finger where I have a X. And then I'm going to pull. Take the string, both the long and the short, pull it tight, and you have what we call a slip knot. So I'm going to do it again. Take the yarn, wrap it around. There you go. You see the little X. Whoops, try it again. X. Then you're going to take this, pull it through, and pull. And then you have your slip knot. All right, so your slip knot goes on your anchor peg. So what you're going to do for that, you're going to put it on there and tug just a little bit, enough to just hold it. So your anchor peg just holds your yarn in place while you are attempting to work. The longer part of the string is what we call our working yarn. So this part right here is your working yarn. This, just tuck it behind, out of the way. All right. As I mentioned before, I will be going to the right. So what we're going to do is start our drawstring cast on. Behind all of your odd number pegs, the string should be behind the peg, like this. In front of number 2, which means you're going to pull it around. So you're zigzagging. The odd number pegs will be behind, the even number pegs will be in front of. So I'm going to turn my loom around towards me. So I'm going to go this, in front of 4, behind 5, in front of 6. And now I'm going to continue this. So as you can see, I am going around. This is sometimes the most relaxing part of knitting for me. All right, now you have everything in the front. You have knitted all of your yarn around. And so now you're back at number 1. So now you're just going to simply pull. And as you're pulling, you'll see that some pegs have 1, some pegs have 2. We're going to do what we call a knit off. Knit off is when you take the yarn, so you can fix it however you want to kind of hold it in place. You're going to take the ones with 2, bottom yarn. There we go. Bottom yarn over the top. Okay. Do it again. Bottom yarn. Sorry about that. Over the top. So then you're going to pull a little bit more. Make sure your yarn stays in front of all of your pegs. And you're going to simply knit off. Bottom over top. Bottom over top. And you're going to continue this process until you have knitted all of your pegs all the way around to peg 1. Now you have knitted all of your pegs around to peg 1, and now we're about to start our rows. So I would suggest you have your wonderful paper, and I would suggest you label it. So start with the word sock, and what you're going to do is write down the information that I told you. So drawstring cast on. And now when you start this process, this is when you start counting your rows. So for the female socks, if you're making it for a female, you're going to knit 14 rows. For a male, if you're knitting a male sock, you're going to knit 18 rows. So we'll start with that, and I'm going to give you the rest of the instructions when we come back. So right now, we're going to do what we call an E-wrap cast on. An E-wrap knit. So for the E-wrap, starting with your peg 1, remember, because it's facing you, it looks like it's going left, but in actuality, it's going to my right if I turn the anchor peg towards me. So you're going to go around, in front, and back. Go again, around, in front, and back. And so you're going to keep this going all the way around in front and back, all the way till you get to your very last peg. Make sure to push the yarn that is already on there, push it down so that it doesn't get caught up. So keep going all the way around. And now you have made it back to your peg 1. Now, in order to hold this one in place, you knit off the last one. So what you're going to do, take the bottom over the top, knit off, and you can release that. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to pull. It's going to stay right there. So for your number 1, number 1 should now have, not really. Sorry, not sorry. Number 1 should now have 2 yarns on it. So what you're going to do is take the bottom over the top, and you're going to continue this process all the way around till you reach the end. And I'll be back. Now look what you did. Yay, yay, yay. You officially did row 1. So for me, I typically use tally marks for my rows because it's easier for me to count them off by 5s than for me to try to write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for this one, you can simply write you can write 1 tally mark, and you're going to continue this process until you've reached 14. So again, you're going to go around the back, in the front, and make sure, because I was about to make a mistake, make sure you go to the next peg. So remember, you had already knitted off the last peg, peg on this side. So make sure you start with your number 1. So go around the back, around in front and back, around in front and back, and you're going to keep going all the way around. And I'll be back when I reach my 14th peg. Just an FYI, once you've reached your second row, go ahead and remove your anchor peg. By doing that, all you're going to simply do is take your hook, pull it off, and tuck it on the inside. So you can take your hook and pull it to the inside. You can take your hand, pull it to the inside. So now it's out of the way. Okay. Remember, your working yarn is coming from your ball of yarn, and this is just the yarn that's on your thing. Sometimes, and I'm gonna show you guys this because I know this may happen to someone. Sometimes your yarn will decide that it does not want to stay on the peg, so it will hop off. For this, all you do to correct this error, see how this one is loose? So you're going to take it, slide it back in there, grab your hook, and slide it back on the peg. And you've corrected that error. That is very important, because if you have any loose openings, what will happen is your whole thing will unravel at that point. So it's very important that you pay attention to how you are knitting, and if a knit comes off, you just simply put it back on. The other thing is, as I mentioned before, make sure that your yarn does not tangle. I have not been the master of untangled yarn. I am still trying to figure out how to keep it from untangling. Typically, I try to go from the middle out, but sometimes I can't find the middle, or the middle comes out of very chunky stuff. And in a minute, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And so you're stuck with working with the outside yarn. And sometimes the outside yarn decides to tangle. So right here, my yarn is doing fairly okay, but I'm going to show you what I tried to do. So this is the top secret yarn thing, right? This is the middle of the yarn. It becomes a clunky mess. So all you do is take your stuff back in there. You say stuff hard. Keep stuffing. And then you say, whoo, gonna use the outside of the yarn. So there we have it. I try to pull from the inside of the yarn, but when it comes out a big chunk like that, there's really nothing that I can do with it. So I'm just like, stuff it on back in. So I'm gonna keep going with this. I am on about row 1, 2, 3. I count my rows as completion. So once I've completely knitted off another row, then I'll count it. And so you can fold it. Don't count your drawstring cast on. I would suggest you count the loops. So 1, 2, 3. There are loops on the inside. I would suggest you count those. And then you can keep on going. So right now I'm on row 3, and I'll come back when I am on row 14. Another side note is I also like to hold my loom close to me. I have what I call my love right here. And so I like to hold it close to me. I am also a part of a group. We call ourselves the Laughing Loom Knitters. We were meeting twice a month at the library. And so there is a young lady in the group who likes to hold her hook differently. There are a couple of ways you can hold your hook. One way is I hold mine from the bottom up and hook over. But as I mentioned to her, the Ray Porter, K-Ray, he likes to do a hook over like this, my son. And so she feels comfortable doing that. So it's whichever way you like to hold your loom, your hook is what's helpful. It makes it a pleasurable activity. And you can just continue to keep, knitting. This is a very calming activity. It's very soothing. Like I mentioned, with the Laughing Loom Knitters, we get together, we laugh, we joke, we talk about all kind of things. And hopefully before the end of my channel, which I'm pretty sure it's not going to end, I'm hoping not. But nevertheless, before it's all said and done, we'll get together and you can see us together. So this is just, like I said, some of the things that I do to keep myself entertained. And again, meeting up with other like-minded people for things like this is pretty cool. Remember to count your stitches. Count your rows. And that way you'll be able to know how far you've gotten. So far, as I mentioned, I'm going to try to show you guys how to count my rows, All right, so here on the outside, you can count it this way based on the holes in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 holes, which means I have 5 rows. Some people like to count it from the inside, but you can't see it as well on the inside. So I would suggest you just pull your yarn a little bit, count your holes, and then keep working from there. Okay, so I'm nearing the end of my 14 stitches, but my sock does not look long enough. So I'm going to add some more stitches to it. So roughly, I'm going to probably end up with the 18 rows. You can also stick your foot in there to find out if it fits, but this just doesn't look long enough. Now, what I have done, because I know you guys are like, what happened? Why is hers closed? So the string that I had that was tied to the anchor peg, I simply pulled it. And do you see how it's tightening up? So again, this is what we call a drawstring cast on. You tighten it up and it draws together. So this is going to be the tip of your toe. So instead of doing 14 rows for your initial one, do 18 rows and I'll be back. Okay, so now I have the length that I want. It's a little longer, it may fit in my foot a little bit better. So now, this is where the part is going to get very interesting, okay? Now that you have your sock together, the foot toe part of your sock, you're going to start with the little ankle part. Now these socks do not go all the way up your ankle. They're simply stopping right at your ankle, maybe like a little ankle cuff sock. So those are the ones that I like to wear typically because to me it's not as confining. It fits right, it slides on, we're done, okay? So what you're gonna do is instead of right here, I'm on my final 24th peg. This is my peg 24 for me. We are not going to cross back over to 1. We're going to go in the opposite direction. So for this one, you're going to go opposite. You're still going a back, but it's still an E-wrap. And the reason why you're doing this is because you're now about to make a divide. You're making your heel. So you're going to go around the back. So back, front, side, around, back, front, side, around. And you're going to keep on going until you get all the way around to peg 1. This part of the heel will be half of whatever your toe was. So if your toe, if the part that you knitted right here was 18, you're going to do half of that. So you would only do 9 of this, what I'm telling you to do now. If you made your sock with 14 rows, then you would do half of that, which is 7. I would suggest you try to stick with numbers that can be easily divided because otherwise it gets a little confusing. Previously, I attempted to do like 21 rows and then try to see if I was able to do the heel correctly. It was kind of iffy. So, nevertheless, we're going to keep on going like this all the way around till we get to our number 1. And right here, we've made it back to our number 1. Do you see right? Let me see if I can get in the camera here. There is no yarn right here. Do not connect the yarn. So you're going to knit off here. And then you're going to knit all the way around. So I'm going to hold mine back up so you guys can see how I knit. Knit all the way back around. So that is your stopping point. So you're stopping at 24 and you're stopping at 1. You're not going across like you were going back in the circle initially. So keep on knitting, just keep knitting, just keep knitting off. And again, I like to hold mine in my hand because it works a little bit easier than me putting it on the table. But whatever makes you feel comfortable is fine, it's fine, it's fine. So now that we have that was 1. So now you're doing your heel. I would suggest you write that down. And because we did 18 of the toe part, 18 rows for the toe part, we're only going to do 9 for the heel. So tally mark my 1, then I'm going to go back. So remember, no cross right here, none whatsoever. And then you're going to go back. Remember, you go behind, around, behind, around. Behind, around. If you're holding it towards you, behind, around. You're going to keep on going. Make sure you push your yarn that's already on your peg down. All right, I've made it back to my 24th peg. And remember, I do not cross that threshold. Okay, so now you're going to knit off. This will be considered your second row. So go ahead and write, if you want to write it down when you get back to row 1, that's fine. But I suggest you write it so that you don't forget, right? So keep going like that and you'll see a clear divide, and I'll be right back. All right, we are officially finished with our sock. We have our 18 rows here, our 9 rows here at the top, and you should see a little V right here, okay? So that is your total of, that should show you the V, which is going to be your heel. So now we're about to do the infamous and sometimes very confusing bind off, okay? So for your bind off, you are going to go E-wrap pegs 24 and 23. And I'm calling them 24 and 23 because I mentioned that this is my 1. So you're going to E-wrap both of those. Okay. Then you're going to pull the yarn over. All right, this is the tricky part. This should be a loop that comes out. You're going to take this loop off of peg 23, pick it up off of the peg, put it on peg 24, which is the back peg going behind. You're going to take the bottom yarn off of this, pull it up and over, still very loose. Then you're going to put this back on peg 23. Okay, so let's try it again. That's the only time that you're knitting 2, because you have to get the yarn on both of those. So from now on, you're only going to knit 1. Okay, so remember, you go behind around. So you E-wrap, you're going to knit off. Okay, you're going to take this one, pull it out, take it off, and put it over here, and tug a little. You should see two working yarn, one here and one here. You're going to take the bottom yarn over the top. Then you're going to take this and move it over. All right, let's try it one more time. E-wrap, knit off, pull your working on, move it over, move it over, to knit off, pull, move. Okay, and so you're going to do that all the way around. Remember, if you need to stop the video, go ahead and stop it. That's what videos are for. All right, so I'm going to do the last one, and then I'm going to pause so I can finish it off. So we're going to knit off, pull, move, tug, knit off, pull, move, return. Okay, be right back. All right, I'm nearing the end. I have 3 more pegs left, so we're going to do them together. So I'm going to go around, knit off, pull, move, okay. Did something wrong right there. All right, let's try it again. Knit off, pull over, tug, pull over, tug, and there we have it. And just knit off. So the last one you're going to loop again. So the last one is the only one that you're going to loop twice. So you go ahead and wrap. And this will be called a slight U-wrap, modified U-wrap. And then you're going to simply take it off. All right, and there you have it. You have this open space. Do not let that close. If it closed, then you're basically will be unraveling your entire sock. All right, so now you have this. What I'm going to do is pull my yarn just long enough so that I can knit it in. So I'll say maybe wrist to elbow bend. I don't even know what this is called. A wrist to elbow bend area. And this is only if you do not have measuring tape. Now, with this part, you're going to take your needle. Oh, sorry. Breathe. Take this and tie it. So you're going to put it inside of the loop. Just like that. Tug. Now it's secure. So it will not unravel. Okay. Take your sock, turn it inside out. Or outside in, whichever one you decide to use. You want it on this side. The stitches look different on both sides. So if you want it on this side, then this will be your inside. If you want it on this side, because again, the stitches look different. So determine which side you would like to be seen. Make sure you put it on the opposite side. That means I'm going to work on this side because I want the inside. I want this to be my inside. So I'm going to tug this. This is the toe. This was our drawstring cast on, so I'm going to tug that to make sure that's nice and secure and it's officially closed. We'll come back to this in a minute. Right now we're working on this part. You're going to put those together like that. So make sure that they're flat. Get your needle. Thread your needle. I tied 2 knots in these to try to make sure that it doesn't come loose. And then starting from the top, here, go across, pull, go back, and pull. And you're going to keep going down, trying to make sure that your stitches stay together. These right here. And just keep pulling. And I hope you guys can see I am simply going in and out. So I'm on this side. I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to simply pull. I'm on this side, so I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to simply pull. And then the last one. All right. So now you have this and you have this. You're going to go inside of this, pull, leaving a little opening right here. Go inside of that, tighten, and you have created a knot. So you're going to do it again. So you're going to go in your yarn, pull through the loop, pull, and then you have another loop here. So you have this big loop, and then you have this little baby loop. Take your yarn, put it in there, and you have a knot. You may officially cut this. I don't cut too close because I don't want it to thread or loose. So I cut about right there. And bam, you have a heel. All right. Now for this one, cut the yarn off this. This can actually be used later. I'm probably going to use it for one of the latch hook projects I'm going to do. But you simply cut your yarn off. Alright. Then you go here. Remember to tie 2 knots. And the reason I tie 2 knots is because I don't want my yarn to tear apart. All right, so here you're going to go the same thing. Well, this one, yeah. I go across here. Then I go back here. Here. Okay. You have that. Then you go back. And you do the same knotting process that you did last time. Go through this loop, pull, then go through this loop, pull, tighten, knit again, and one of the mistakes you don't want to make is that you tighten too soon. So make sure that you're knitting, you have pulled it down where you would like for it to tighten, and tighten it. Because otherwise you're going to have a knot like that. That is not what we want. Alright, so this will irritate me. Let me go ahead and try to make this smaller. Alright, so we're going to cut off. Flip your sock back inside out or outside in, whichever side that you're going to be using. Straighten it up. And there you have it. You have just loom knitted your little sock. Isn't it cute? Alright. Now, in the event that you have a situation where you think that this is going to be too small, the next sock that you knit, just knit the heel part a little longer. If you feel like this part is coming loose, you can simply take a ribbon, put it in between each one of the loops right here. Take your ribbon, put it in there, tie it at the top, and you will have it. There we have it, our loom knitting sock. Good job.